Picture this: a chilly October evening, leaves rustling in the wind, and an almost tangible feeling of anticipation in the air. The streets are filled with glowing pumpkins, children in costumes scurry from door to door, and there's a sense of something otherworldly. This is Halloween, but its roots are far older, far more complex, and stretch across continents and centuries. Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to a very special episode of strAInge. Tonight, we're diving into the chilling, mysterious, and surprisingly global history of Halloween. We all know Halloween as the night of costumes, candy, and ghost stories, but where did it all begin? Is it just an American holiday filled with commercialism, or is there something more, something deeper lurking in the shadows of history? Tonight, we're not just sticking to the familiar stories. We'll embark on a journey from the ancient Celtic festivals in Europe to the vibrant celebrations of Mexico's Dia de los Muertos, from the quiet reverence of Japan's Obon to the eerie traditions of Eastern Europe. We'll explore how Halloween, or something akin to it, has manifested in various cultures around the globe. And trust me, by the end of this episode, you might just find yourself looking at Halloween in a whole new light. So settle in, light a candle if you dare, and let's begin our descent into the history of Halloween. Chapter 2: Ancient Origins, Samhain, the Celtic Roots of Halloween. Our journey begins over 2,000 years ago in the ancient Celtic lands of what are now Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. The Celts were a people deeply connected to the cycles of nature, and they believed that certain times of the year held unique power. One of those times was the end of the harvest season, the point when the nights grew longer, and the world seemed to shift towards darkness. They called this night Samhain, pronounced so in a festival marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, the darker half of the year. To the Celts, Samhain was not just a celebration, it was a liminal time, a period when the veil between the living world and the world of the spirits thinned. They believed that during Samhain, the ghosts of the dead could return to the earth. But these spirits weren't all friendly. While some were the souls of beloved ancestors, others were malevolent beings that could harm crops, livestock, or even the living. To protect themselves and ensure the favor of these spirits, the Celts practiced a variety of rituals. They would light large bonfires on hilltops to ward off evil spirits and guide the souls of the dead back to the otherworld. Communities gathered around these fires to burn offerings of crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. People would also disguise themselves in costumes made of animal skins and masks. The purpose was twofold: to avoid being recognized by malevolent spirits and to mimic them, blending in to avoid their wrath. Samhain was a festival of death, but it was also a celebration of life and the cycle of nature. It marked the end of one year and the beginning of another, a time to reflect on what had passed and to prepare for the hardships of winter. Divination was a common practice during this festival. Druids, the Celtic priests, would use the bones of animals, stones, and other natural elements to predict the future, helping people navigate the uncertainties of the coming year. This night of fire, feasting, and fear was the ancestor of our modern Halloween. As the centuries passed and Christianity spread across the British Isles, the Church sought to overlay this pagan festival with Christian meanings. They established All Saints' Day on November 1st and All Souls' Day on November 2nd, hoping to redirect the people's focus from the supernatural to the holy. However, Samhain's traditions were too deeply rooted in the cultural psyche to be entirely replaced. Instead, they merged, leading to the creation of All Hallows' Eve, which we now know as Halloween. The ancient practices of lighting bonfires, wearing disguises, and honoring the dead on Samhain survived and evolved, carried forward by Irish and Scottish immigrants to the New World, where they would grow into the Halloween we celebrate today. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Samhain's influence stretches far and wide, intertwining with various customs and beliefs across Europe. Chapter 3: Medieval Europe, All Hallows' Eve and Mumming. Fast forward to the medieval period in Europe. By this time, Christianity had taken a firm hold across the continent, but as we've seen before, the Church was adept at blending with existing pagan customs rather than eradicating them outright. The Christianization of Samhain led to the creation of All Saints' Day, also known as All Hallows Day, on November 1st, and All Souls Day on November 2nd. The night before these holy days became All Hallows Eve, a time to prepare for the solemnity and remembrance of the dead. But even as the Church attempted to Christianize these celebrations, the older, pre-Christian customs persisted. The idea of spirits walking among the living did not simply vanish with the advent of Christianity, it adapted. The night of All Hallows Eve became a blend of old and new beliefs. People still feared the souls of the dead and the malevolent spirits that might walk the earth on this night, and so they continued practices meant to protect them from harm. One such practice was mumming, a tradition that involved people dressing in costumes and going door to door, offering performances in exchange for food or money. Mummers often wore masks or face paint to disguise themselves, a nod to the ancient belief in warding off or confusing spirits. In many regions, these performances took the form of short plays or musical pieces that often had spiritual or protective significance. The costumes ranged from simple rags to elaborate outfits representing various characters, including ghosts, demons, and mythical beings. Guising, particularly popular in Scotland and Ireland, was another tradition where children would dress in costumes and go from house to house, reciting songs, poems, or jokes in exchange for offerings. These offerings were usually small, such as fruits, nuts, or cakes. The disguises were meant not only to entertain but also to provide protection from the spirits that were believed to roam the earth on All Hallows Eve. Souling was a similar tradition, mostly practiced in England. On All Souls Day, the poor would go door to door, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes, small round cakes baked as offerings for the deceased. This practice was rooted in the Christian belief in purgatory, where the souls of the dead awaited purification before entering heaven. By offering prayers and cakes, people believed they could help speed the soul's journey to the afterlife. All these practices, mumming, guising, and souling, carried the echo of Samhain's ancient rituals while adding new Christian meanings. They were ways for communities to come together, confront their fears of death and the unknown, and ensure protection for the living and the dead. In these medieval traditions, we see the early threads of modern Halloween customs beginning to weave together. But Halloween's journey was far from over. These customs would soon make their way across the Atlantic to the New World, where they would merge and transform into something distinctly different. Chapter 4: Dia de los Muertos and Other Latin American Traditions. While Halloween evolved in Europe, across the Atlantic, a very different but equally significant celebration was taking shape. In Mexico and parts of Latin America, Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, became a vibrant festival that shares some thematic elements with Halloween but differs greatly in spirit and execution. Dia de los Muertos has roots in the ancient civilizations of Mesoamerica, such as the Aztecs and the Toltecs, who held a cyclical view of life and death. They believed that death was not the end but a continuation of life's journey. The Aztecs, for instance, dedicated an entire month to honoring the dead, a tradition that survived the Spanish conquest and merged with Catholicism to become the Dia de los Muertos we know today. This festival is celebrated from October 31st to November 2nd, coinciding with the Christian observance of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. But while Halloween often embraces the eerie and the macabre, Dia de los Muertos is a joyous occasion, a celebration of life and death. It is believed that during this time, the spirits of the deceased return to the world of the living to be reunited with their families. Ofrendas are central to the celebration. These are altars built in homes, cemeteries, and public spaces to honor deceased loved ones. They are elaborate displays filled with items meant to welcome the spirits back into the world of the living. Each ofrenda is unique, but most share common elements. Photographs of the deceased, reminding the spirits that they are remembered and loved. Candles to light the way for the spirits as they journey back to the mortal realm. Marigold flowers, or cempasúchil, are used to decorate the altars. Their bright color and scent are believed to guide the spirits to the ofrenda. Food and drinks are laid out as offerings, including traditional foods like pan de muerto, bread of the dead, and the favorite dishes of the deceased. It's believed that the spirits consume the essence and aroma of these offerings. Sugar skulls, calaveras, and skeleton figurines, calacos, are iconic symbols of Dia de los Muertos. These skulls are not meant to be frightening but rather playful, often brightly decorated and personalized. They serve as a reminder that death is a natural part of life. Dia de los Muertos is not a somber event but a celebration filled with music, dancing, and laughter. Families gather at cemeteries to clean and decorate gravesites, often spending the entire night sharing stories, singing, and even enjoying a meal with the spirits of their ancestors. In many ways, it's a time to celebrate the lives of those who have passed, to keep their memory alive, and to acknowledge that death is a continuation of life. While Dia de los Muertos is most closely associated with Mexico, similar traditions exist throughout Latin America. In Ecuador, families celebrate by visiting graves, offering food, and drinking colada morada, a traditional purple corn drink. In Guatemala, the Day of the Dead is marked by the flying of enormous, colorful kites believed to connect the living with the spirits of the dead. In Bolivia, some communities observe All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day by creating altars and even exhuming the bones of their ancestors for cleaning and display. This practice is rooted in the belief that maintaining a connection with the dead ensures their continued protection and blessings. These traditions, while different from Halloween, share a common theme: they acknowledge the presence of the dead in the lives of the living. They serve as a reminder that death is not something to fear but a part of the human experience that binds us to our ancestors. Dia de los Muertos and similar celebrations provide a contrast to Halloween's often darker, more fear-driven approach to the supernatural, emphasizing joy, memory, and the continuity of life. Chapter 5: The Halloween of Eastern Europe. In Eastern Europe, the celebration of the dead has its own rich history, deeply influenced by a blend of ancient pagan practices and Christian beliefs. These traditions often carry an aura of mystery and foreboding, rooted in the folklore and superstitions of the region. Unlike the festive nature of Dia de los Muertos, the Eastern European approach to this season is often more solemn and mystical. Poland has a long-standing tradition known as strAInge or Forefathers' Eve, an ancient Slavic festival that was celebrated during the autumn and spring equinoxes. During strAInge, it was believed that the souls of the ancestors returned to the earth. Families would gather to prepare feasts and light candles or fires to guide the spirits back to their former homes. They would also leave offerings of food and drink on windowsills or gravesites, inviting the spirits to join them. This was a time of reflection and respect for the deceased, acknowledging their ongoing presence in the lives of the living. As Christianity spread through Eastern Europe, the festival of strAInge was absorbed into the Christian calendar, blending with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. However, many of the older customs persisted. To this day, All Saints' Day, November 1st, and All Souls' Day, November 2nd, in Poland are marked by the lighting of candles on graves, creating a hauntingly beautiful sea of light in cemeteries across the country. These traditions symbolize a belief in the enduring connection between the living and the dead. Romania, a land shrouded in legends and myths, has its own eerie customs. The country is famously associated with Dracula, the vampire lore inspired by the historical figure Vlad the Impaler. Romanian folklore is rich with tales of ghosts, vampires, and strigoi, restless spirits or undead beings that rise from their graves. On nights like Halloween, or more commonly around St. Andrew's Eve, November 30th, it is believed that the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead becomes thin, allowing these entities to cross over. To protect themselves from these malevolent spirits, Romanians would employ various folk remedies. Garlic, for example, was believed to ward off vampires, and people would sprinkle salt around their homes to prevent evil from entering. On these nights, cemeteries are seen as places of power, where the spirits are at their most active. In Russia and Ukraine, traditions around this time of year include honoring the dead with feasts and prayers. However, Halloween as we know it is less commonly celebrated and sometimes even discouraged by religious authorities who view it as a pagan or Western influence. Instead, the focus is on Radonitsa, the Day of Rejoicing, a springtime festival where families visit gravesites, bring food, and offer prayers for the departed. These Eastern European traditions offer a fascinating contrast to Halloween. While they may lack the playful and commercial elements that Halloween has acquired, they share a deep-rooted belief in the presence of the dead among the living. They remind us that Halloween, in its many forms, is ultimately about the same thing, the thin line between life and death and the ways we seek to understand and honor that boundary. Chapter 6: Japan's Obon Festival and Other East Asian Traditions. While Halloween as we know it isn't widely celebrated in East Asia, the region has its own rich tapestry of festivals dedicated to honoring the dead. In Japan, this tradition takes the form of Obon, a Buddhist festival held in mid-August that marks the time when it is believed the spirits of ancestors return to the living world. Obon is one of Japan's most important holidays, a time when families come together to honor their deceased loved ones. Unlike the Western Halloween, which often focuses on the eerie and the macabre, Obon is a time of joy, remembrance, and gratitude. It is a celebration that emphasizes the importance of family and the continuity between the past and the present. During Obon, families engage in a variety of rituals to welcome the spirits of their ancestors back into their homes. Grave visits. Before the festival begins, many Japanese families visit the graves of their ancestors to clean the tombstones and offer flowers, incense, and food. This act is both a sign of respect for the dead and a way to ensure that the spirits feel welcomed. Bon-odori, one of the most iconic elements of Obon, is the bon-odori, a traditional dance performed to welcome and entertain the spirits. These dances, which vary from region to region, are performed by communities often around a raised platform where musicians play traditional instruments. The music and movements of the bon-odori are joyful and rhythmic, embodying the spirit of celebration rather than mourning. Toronagashi, at the end of the festival, families participate in toronagashi, the floating of paper lanterns on rivers or the sea. These lanterns are meant to guide the spirits back to the other world, symbolizing a peaceful farewell until the next year. The sight of hundreds of glowing lanterns drifting on the water is a moving and beautiful conclusion to the festival, a visual reminder of the connection between the living and the dead. In China and Taiwan, a similar tradition known as the Ghost Festival takes place during the 7th month of the lunar calendar. According to Taoist and Buddhist beliefs, this is the time when the gates of the underworld open, allowing hungry, restless spirits to roam the earth in search of food and entertainment. To appease these spirits, people make offerings of food, burn incense, and even burn paper replicas of items such as money, houses, and clothing to provide for the needs of their ancestors in the afterlife. Feasts and offerings. Families often prepare large feasts, both for their ancestors and for the wandering spirits who have no living relatives to care for them. In many communities, public feasts are held, where tables are laid out with offerings to satisfy the spirits. Ghost money. One of the most distinctive aspects of the Ghost Festival is the burning of ghost money or joss paper. This practice is believed to provide the deceased with wealth in the afterlife, ensuring their comfort and happiness. It is also a way for the living to maintain a good relationship with the spirit world and avoid potential misfortune. While Obon and the Ghost Festival differ in tone and practice from Halloween, they share the universal theme of acknowledging the presence of the dead. These festivals emphasize the importance of family, the respect for ancestors, and the belief that the spirits of the deceased continue to influence the world of the living. In many ways, these East Asian festivals offer a counterpoint to Halloween. They focus less on fear and more on reverence, reminding us that the dead are not just phantoms to be avoided but a vital part of our ongoing story. Chapter 7: Africa and Halloween-like traditions. The African continent is home to a diverse range of cultures, each with its own beliefs and practices regarding death, the afterlife, and the supernatural. While Halloween as a holiday isn't traditionally celebrated in Africa, many cultures have their own customs that resonate with the themes of honoring the dead and acknowledging the spiritual world. In many African cultures, the dead are seen as ancestors, powerful spirits who watch over the living, providing guidance, protection, and blessings. The Festival of the Ancestors in Ghana, for example, is an important event that involves rituals to honor and communicate with the dead. During this festival, Families make offerings of food, drink, and other goods to their ancestors, often gathering at shrines or sacred sites. These offerings are meant to show respect and ensure the ancestors' continued favor. West African voodoo traditions also focus heavily on ancestor veneration. In countries like Benin and Togo, ceremonies often include offerings, drumming, dancing, and the invocation of spirits known as loa. These loa act as intermediaries between the living and the spirit world, and maintaining a good relationship with them is seen as essential for ensuring harmony and balance in one's life. Voodoo practices emphasize the interconnectedness of the living and the dead, and many rituals are aimed at appeasing restless spirits or seeking the guidance of benevolent ones. In parts of Africa where Islam and Christianity are dominant, traditional beliefs about the dead have often merged with religious customs. For example, in some regions, it's customary to hold annual memorials for deceased loved ones, where families gather to offer prayers, share meals, and remember the departed. These practices echo the themes of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, highlighting the universal human need to honor the memory of those who have passed on. While African traditions may differ from Halloween in their specific practices and beliefs, they share a common understanding of death as a transition rather than an end. They emphasize the enduring bond between the living and the dead, a connection that is celebrated, revered, and sometimes feared. These traditions, like Halloween, remind us of the mystery of death and the ways in which it continues to shape our lives. Chapter 8: Modern Halloween, the American Evolution. As we journey from ancient festivals to modern times, we find ourselves in the United States, where Halloween has undergone one of the most dramatic transformations. The Halloween we know today, filled with trick-or-treating, costumes, haunted houses, and candy, owes much of its character to the traditions brought over by Irish and Scottish immigrants in the 19th century. In the mid-1800s, the Great Famine drove many Irish to the United States, bringing with them the customs of Samhain, mumming, and guising. These practices quickly merged with American culture, evolving into what we now recognize as Halloween. By the early 20th century, Halloween in America was a community-centered holiday, marked by parties, parades, and festive gatherings. One of the most iconic Halloween traditions, trick-or-treating, has roots in the European practices of souling and guising. In the 1920s and 1930s, children in America began dressing up in costumes and going door-to-door asking for treats, a practice that was encouraged as a way to promote safe and neighborly fun. The treats offered were initially homemade goods like cookies, fruit, and coins. However, with the rise of commercial candy companies in the mid-20th century, candy quickly became the standard offering, solidifying Halloween as the candy-centric holiday it is today. Jack-o'-lanterns, another staple of Halloween, also evolved from Irish traditions. In Ireland and Scotland, people would carve faces into turnips or potatoes and place them near doorways to ward off evil spirits. When immigrants arrived in America, they found that pumpkins, a native fruit, were much larger and easier to carve. Thus, the pumpkin became the preferred medium for creating these spooky lanterns, and the practice of carving jack-o'-lanterns became a beloved Halloween activity. Haunted houses and ghost stories also became an integral part of American Halloween. As the holiday evolved into a night of fun and fright, people began to seek out thrills and scares. Community and commercial haunted houses started popping up in the 1960s and 1970s, offering a safe way to experience the spooky elements of the holiday. Today, haunted houses range from simple home setups to elaborate commercial attractions, complete with special effects, actors, and intricate storylines designed to terrify even the bravest souls. Halloween's evolution in America also saw it become a major cultural phenomenon. Horror films and TV specials, such as John Carpenter's Halloween, 1978, and It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, 1966, played a significant role in shaping the public's perception of the holiday. These films and shows contributed to the idea of Halloween as a night for ghosts, monsters, and the supernatural. Costumes became increasingly elaborate over the years, shifting from simple disguises meant to ward off spirits to creative expressions of personal interests, pop culture, and imagination. Today, Halloween costumes range from the spooky to the whimsical, with people of all ages participating in the fun. Costume parties, parades, and contests are now standard Halloween activities, showcasing the holiday's evolution from a night of fear to a celebration of creativity and playfulness. Chapter 9: Halloween around the world today. As Halloween has grown in popularity, it has spread to various parts of the world, often blending with local traditions and taking on new forms. In many countries, Halloween has been embraced as a night of fun and festivity, while in others, it remains a more subdued or controversial observance. In the United Kingdom and Ireland, Halloween's original home, the holiday has experienced a resurgence in recent years, influenced by American customs. Trick-or-treating has become more common, with children dressing up in costumes and going from house to house. Halloween parties, complete with decorations, games, and spooky treats, are also popular. However, the UK still retains some of its older traditions, such as apple bobbing and telling ghost stories, keeping the spirit of Samhain alive. Canada celebrates Halloween in a manner almost identical to the United States, with trick-or-treating, costume parties, haunted attractions, and community events. In both countries, Halloween has become a major cultural event, with people of all ages participating in the festivities. Mexico continues to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, but Halloween has also gained popularity, especially in urban areas. In cities like Mexico City, Halloween parties and costume parades take place alongside the traditional Day of the Dead celebrations. This blend of customs creates a unique cultural experience where the playful aspects of Halloween meet the deep spiritual traditions of Dia de los Muertos. Japan has enthusiastically adopted Halloween, particularly in major cities like Tokyo. While traditional elements like trick-or-treating are not widespread, Halloween in Japan is marked by large-scale costume parties, parades, and themed events. Kawaii, cute, culture heavily influences Japanese Halloween, with people dressing up not just as ghosts or monsters, but as characters from anime, movies, and video games. The Shibuya Halloween celebration in Tokyo has become one of the largest Halloween events in the world, drawing massive crowds of revelers in creative costumes. In Australia and New Zealand, Halloween has been growing in popularity, particularly among younger generations. While the holiday was not traditionally celebrated, the influence of American culture through movies, TV shows, and social media has led to an increase in Halloween activities. Trick-or-treating is becoming more common, and many stores now stock Halloween-themed decorations and costumes. Germany is another country where Halloween has seen a rise in popularity, especially in recent years. Germans have long observed All Saints' Day, but Halloween has gained traction, particularly among young people and in urban areas. Halloween parties, costume contests, and themed events are becoming more widespread, though trick-or-treating remains less common than in the U.S. or U.K. However, Halloween's spread is not without its critics. In some countries, Halloween is seen as a foreign import that conflicts with local traditions or religious beliefs. In places like Russia and parts of the Middle East, Halloween has faced resistance from religious and cultural authorities who view it as promoting occultism or Western values. In some cases, public celebrations of Halloween are discouraged or even banned. Despite these challenges, Halloween continues to evolve and adapt to different cultural contexts. Its global spread is a testament to its universal themes, the fascination with the supernatural, the blurring of the line between life and death, and the desire to confront our fears in a safe and playful way. Chapter 10: Creepy Traditions and Urban Legends. Halloween has always been a night steeped in mystery and superstition, a time when the normal rules of the world seem to bend and twist. Over the centuries, it has been associated with a host of creepy traditions and urban legends that add to its eerie allure. While some of these stories have ancient roots, others have emerged more recently, reflecting the evolving fears and fascinations of each generation. One of the most well-known superstitions is the belief that black cats bring bad luck. This idea dates back to the Middle Ages when black cats were often associated with witches. It was believed that witches could transform into black cats to move around unnoticed, making these animals symbols of both mystery and misfortune. Today, black cats are a common symbol of Halloween, often depicted alongside witches and cauldrons. However, many animal shelters take extra precautions around Halloween to protect black cats from harm due to lingering superstitions. Another classic superstition is the idea that breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck. This belief is ancient, originating from the idea that mirrors not only reflect our physical appearance but also our souls. Breaking a mirror was thought to damage the soul, leading to misfortune. Similarly, walking under a ladder is considered bad luck because of the triangle shape formed by the ladder, which was seen as a sacred symbol in ancient Egypt. Walking through this sacred space was believed to disrupt the protective spirits that resided there. Halloween is also the perfect time for telling urban legends, those spooky, often gruesome tales that circulate as cautionary stories. Many countries have their own version of such legends, adding to the night's sense of unease. In the United States and United Kingdom, the legend of Bloody Mary is a popular Halloween game. It involves standing in front of a mirror in a dark room and chanting Bloody Mary 3 times to summon a ghostly figure. The origins of this legend are murky, but it is often said that the figure is the vengeful spirit of a woman wronged in life. The ritual plays on the fear of mirrors and the belief that they can act as portals to other realms. In Mexico, the legend of La Llorona, the weeping woman, is a ghost story that has been passed down for generations. According to the tale, La Llorona is the spirit of a woman who drowned her children in a fit of rage and was condemned to wander the earth, crying for her lost children. It is said that those who hear her cries are marked for misfortune. The story of La Llorona is often told to children as a cautionary tale and serves as a reminder of the consequences of extreme emotions. In Japan, the urban legend of Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman, adds a particularly chilling element to Halloween. According to the legend, she appears to people as a woman wearing a surgical mask, a common sight in Japan. She will ask her victims, "Am I pretty?" If they answer yes, she removes the mask to reveal a grotesque, slit mouth, and then asks, "How about now?" Depending on the response, she may harm or even kill the victim. This legend taps into deep-seated fears of disfigurement and the idea that beauty can be deceiving. These superstitions and legends are not just stories, they are a reflection of the cultural fears and anxieties of their times. They remind us that Halloween, despite its modern trappings, remains a night of mystery and the unknown, a time when the line between reality and the supernatural becomes blurred. Chapter 11: The Future of Halloween. As we look to the future, Halloween continues to evolve, adapting to the changing landscape of society, technology, and culture. The digital age has introduced new ways of celebrating this ancient holiday, transforming how we experience and share the spooky season. Virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, have brought a new dimension to Halloween. Virtual haunted houses and escape rooms have become increasingly popular, offering immersive experiences that allow participants to navigate terrifying scenarios without ever leaving their homes. These digital experiences range from eerie walks through haunted mansions to interactive games that challenge players to solve mysteries or survive supernatural threats. The use of VR and AR technology has opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for Halloween, allowing people to engage with the holiday in innovative and personalized ways. Social media has also played a significant role in Halloween's modern evolution. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have become hubs for Halloween-related content, from makeup tutorials and costume showcases to spooky storytelling and haunted house tours. Each year, new trends emerge, with people using social media to share their creativity, connect with others, and participate in global Halloween challenges. Hashtags like #31DaysOffHalloween or #Spooktober unite Halloween enthusiasts around the world, creating a sense of community and shared celebration. In recent years, there has been a growing awareness of the environmental impact of Halloween, leading to the rise of the sustainable Halloween movement. Many costumes and decorations are made from non-recyclable materials and contribute to waste. To address this, Communities and individuals are promoting eco-friendly alternatives, such as creating costumes from thrifted or repurposed materials, using natural or biodegradable decorations, and choosing treats with minimal packaging. This movement reflects a broader shift toward conscious consumerism, even during festive seasons. Inclusivity is another important focus for the future of Halloween. Costume designers and advocates are pushing for more inclusive options that cater to people of all abilities, ensuring that everyone can participate in the fun. For children with food allergies, the Teal Pumpkin Project has been a game changer. Homes that display a teal pumpkin on their doorstep offer non-food treats, making trick-or-treating safe and enjoyable for all children. As Halloween continues to grow in popularity worldwide, it's fascinating to see how different cultures adapt and reinterpret the holiday. From Tokyo's bustling street parties to Mexico's vibrant Dia de los Muertos celebrations, Halloween's global influence is a testament to its enduring appeal. It's a holiday that resonates across cultures because it taps into universal themes: the changing of the seasons, the mystery of the afterlife, and the thrill of confronting the unknown. Conclusion: Halloween has come a long way from its origins in ancient Celtic rituals. It has transformed through the ages, crossing continents and merging with a myriad of cultural practices. Today, it stands as a night where the spooky, the silly, the sacred, and the celebratory come together in a unique mix. Whether it's through the laughter of children dressed as their favorite characters, the artistry of a carefully crafted costume, or the quiet reflection on the lives of those who have passed, Halloween is a night that continues to captivate and evolve. The final chapter. And so, dear listeners, our journey through the history of Halloween comes to an end. I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of the many faces of Halloween across time and cultures. But don't get too comfortable, because next time on strAInge, we're diving into a tale of extraterrestrial encounters and eerie sightings as we explore the story of the Flatwoods Monster. You won't want to miss it. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and stay strAInge.